first I live in Italy, in Bologna, and this is where I practice in Gembukan, Bologna, with my sensei, Detlef de Leuven, and I practice Iaido. I've actually started with Kendo, but only for 1 year, and I've been practicing even Jodo. Last year I didn't practice Jodo so much, but I will see what will be in the future. So my principal interest is in Iaido.
Okay.
I started 11 years ago in 2010, and before I've never practiced any martial arts. I didn't know anything about martial arts, so I was doing other stuff, and I've started my interest with Japanese cinema, Japanese movies. I used to like Takeshi Kitano or a director like that. And I saw Kendo in some movies, and I said, okay, it looks nice. I really want to be with this, with the sword and practice with the sword. And I didn't know Iaido exists actually at that time. Kendo was the only martial arts with sword that I used to know. So I tried to find a dojo in which Kendo was practiced. There were only 2 dojos in Bologna. Bologna is quite a big city, but there were only 2 places where you can practice Kendo. And I was really lucky to choose Musokan Kendo Club because they practice Kendo, Iaido, and Jodo. So I could get to know the other martial arts. And at the beginning, for 1 year, I studied Kendo and Iaido. But then I realized Kendo was not my my style. It was not my heart. But I really fell in love with Iaido, actually. And after a couple of years, I started with Jodo. That was something like in between Kendo and Iaido. So it was more fighting, a different kind of study because you have to practice with other people in couples. So for me, it was a challenge because I love Iaido, even because I can practice alone. Is a kind of individual practice. So I'm responsible of my own growth, of my own training. Even if, of course, the group is really important. So there are these 2 aspects that for me are really interesting. I can do by myself, but the group, the sensei, the people who practice with are so important for getting better, for improve your practice. So Jodo, it was a challenge for me because I have to work in pairs with other people. I'm really shy normally, so the fact that I have to look in the eyes the other person for all the time of the practice for me was really weird and really difficult. So it helps me a lot, even this kind of different attitude.
Yeah.
In the training.
I have the similar thing when I started doing Tachiuchi no Kurai, because I started with Iaido too, and I liked my single thing. But when you're looking at someone's eyes, especially if it's someone in your dojo, maybe a friend, then sometimes you're looking and then you start laughing at each other and you can't stay focused. For someone that's not used to something like that, how did you gradually start enjoying doing something like Jodo? Like if you knew that, oh, you're not used to this, what kind of drove you to continue working on this?
It was a similar thing that even for Iaido, I mean, the group, the beautiful group, the beautiful friendship you created during practice. Because, okay, a lot of people who does Iaido, the people who practice Jodo mostly practice even Iaido, so it was the same group, but with other people more. So I got to know a very special person, very special people. I had the occasion to make a lot of friendship, and that was one of the motivation. And even sometimes I try to do something that I'm not very good at, or that is a challenge, to try to improve in the real life, not just for the martial art. I work with the public, with customers. I work in a bank. At the beginning, it was really difficult for me because I was shy and I have to talk with people every time. So this kind of stuff helped me even with my job.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep trying, even when it was so difficult for me, and now, of course, it's much less difficult.
So we find that attitude when we start practicing martial arts, that like we're doing something, we realize that it takes a little time, but if we keep working at it, we get better. And then you feel good about that. Did you have a different type of interest before you did martial arts? Were you interested in art or in science or in other sports or games? Like, was there something that had that same feeling for you before you started?
I don't think so, actually, because I mean, I used to read a lot. I like reading. I like watching movies. Cinema was my biggest passion before, but it's not that I felt so improve in my life because I was watching a movie. It was very good for me. It makes me feel very good, but I don't have this feeling. I like traveling. Traveling is a little bit more because I like to know different countries. So this helps a lot. This helps me in this way, because I think that traveling, getting in touch with different cultures, really improve yourself in a certain kind of way. Mm-hmm. But the other interest I have, I didn't have that feeling. Here there is a certain kind of way that you have to follow. There are different challenges, different in every part of your way. At the beginning, you have some kind of difficulties, and then, but there's always something that you can improve. There's always something that you can polish, that you can. It never ended. It never ends, and this is why it's so interesting. You work on the same movements, the same katas, but always putting something more in the katas. So it's really weird how the same movement can change and can be so challenging every time. Every time you have to restart to make it better. It's something that I don't have in my job, and I don't have in other part of my life. So it makes me feel always. I don't know how to say. Always smart. You have to be always focused. Always putting efforts. You cannot just training without your heart or your mind very very focused. So I like even for that.
We start realizing how much our practice we can bring into outside our life, into our work or family or other interests. What's an example of something that you started noticing pretty early on when you were practicing, that you were doing more of, or you realized you were more confident in attempting? How did you see the martial arts practice kind of bleeding into the rest of your life?
I think that I'm is especially for my for the social part. I mean, in my job, for example, but not only, I have to meet a lot of people. Sometimes I have to change offices, so I meet new people. I have to work with new people, and it has always been a stress for me. It was difficult, but not now, because even in the martial arts, I meet a lot of people. You have to meet new sensei. The sensei watch you. You know that they are watching you, and you always feel in I don't know I don't know how to say, but sometimes you have to show your katas in front of a lot of people. At the beginning, it was really difficult, but now is not anymore. And or when you do gradings or taikai. So now when I got to meet new people, I'm not so close. I have more chances to be to socialize before. I don't know if it's the martial arts, but I think that this has helped me a lot.
Mm-hmm. You mentioned earlier that Bologna is big, but it only has 2 dojos. So when did you start seeing other people from other dojos and then from other countries? When did your eyes be open to, like, this is a much larger community than that city?
Actually, after 1 year and a half, I did my first Italian championship, and that was not the first one, but the biggest event I was involved in, and when I could see all the other dojos in Italy. And that was the first one, but the real big moment for me, and that really even demonstrate that I was so in love with Iaido, arrived after a couple of months. I went to Switzerland. In Switzerland, there is a very beautiful seminar every year in April in Maglingen. And it was the first time I was going outside Italy. I did a very long trip with a new person that I've never met before, just to practice 1 day and a half. So just for 1 day and a half. But everything was so beautiful. And I said, okay, I did all this for only 1 day and a half. I really should love this this martial art. And it was really beautiful. I could meet some people from all Europe there. And then I went to my first European Championship. And this was really interesting, because I saw an incredible level. I mean, people of my same grade was, for me, they were so good, so much better than me. And then I could see even all the other highest level, highest grade practicing and competing. It was amazing. It was amazing. When I came back, I said, okay, now I have to practice more. I have to try to reach that level. Okay, that became my my goal, actually, and this was really incredible. And I saw even all the friendship among all the people. I mean, there were competition, and then at the end, a big party with everyone dancing together, hugging after a taikai. Even if a person has lost, there was hugging and smiling. There's really a lot of joy and friendship. That's really so important, and it's amazing. It's amazing. After that, I started doing a lot of seminar abroad and meeting friends. It's always a bigger part, a really important part of the practice, not just the training, but even this part. For me, it's really important. And when you practice among friends, is always different. You feel the energy of your friends around, and that gives you a lot of energy.
Mm-hmm.
It's really nice.
When you start something like kendo, it's pretty obvious that it becomes something. Competition is part of it. There's a lot of shiai. That's one thing that you do a lot in kendo, and that's a main part of it. In Iaido and Jodo, we tend to start practice. We do our own thing, and then we do seminars where we just learn. How do you picture taikai fitting in with an art like Iaido and Jodo? What's the value of something like that compared to just a regular seminar where you learn to improve your technique?
I think that the Taikai part gives you a lot of motivation for learning more. So knowing that you have a couple of time in the year that you have to compete, so it's not just that you have to get better, but you have to be so good that the referees will vote for you is really a big motivation. Sometimes, okay, you have gradings, but now I'm Yondan, so I have to wait a lot of years from one gradings to another. And of course, now I have to do the Godan gradings is a very important grade, and I really need to work a lot, not just for some months, but for years. You need a lot of time to get ready to that grading. But having the Taikai in the middle is really helping. It's really helping. And for me, it was a surprise because I've started to practice martial art when I was 37. So I used to do some competition when I was really young. I was doing volleyball or other stuff. So I've never had any other competition for years. So doing a competition for me at my age, it was really surprising. So it really likes me. I really like that. And it really good for motivation.
When you think back about the last 10 years, and the amount of practice you've had, whether you're traveling or whether you're competing or participating in seminars, what would be one or two events that really stand out for you that you think back, and if someone, maybe one of your friends that doesn't do martial arts, they ask you, why do you do Iaido? You can think back, oh, there's this instance or there's this event or this experience that I've had that I think is really memorable, and you just like to talk about it.
Okay. There has been many moments actually, but for example, my first championship was really was one of these events because I went there without knowing anything. I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how I was compared to other people. So it was all new for me. So it was really an incredible moment, and that was one. And then, I don't know, there are so many seminars that I love. And now I used to do every year. I mean, of course, before COVID, but I used to go every year to Iaido Cup, which is an incredible event. It's a Taikai, and it is in the Netherlands. And the first time it was really nice for me because it is in Utrecht, and I have been living in Utrecht for a university for some months. So it was like coming back at home for a point of view, and it was really nice because there are so many incredible sensei. Is a Taikai, but there is not the pressure of a championship, so it's very a friendship Taikai. So it's every year is really special.
Could you explain that one a little bit? I think I've talked to a few people that have mentioned the Iaido Cup, but haven't gone into detail of what is that event and what goes on during the weekend or how many days it was.
It's all really concentrate because we used to do one day Iaido, one day Jodo. So the first morning you do 3 hours of seminar, and it's really nice because it's really concentrate. So you have to really work hard. The sensei try to tell everything, all the concentrate on the teaching in a very small period. And then there's the Taikai, so all the afternoon. And what is nice is even, and I experimented it last year, that is some kind of training Taikai. So is a way to train you to do Taikai, because when you do Taikai, there is a different pressure than when you practice normally. So you really have to the more Taikai you do, the better it is if you want to keep going. But they try even to train you to refereeing, for example. So the Yondan, who are the people who are going to become referee, they try to train them to be a referee. So I had my first chance to do refereeing in a competition. So it was really exciting, difficult and exciting at the same time. And the second day is the same for Jodo, 3 hours of seminar and then the competition. And there are even gradings. So it's all concentrated. Seminar, Taikai, and gradings.
Oh.
So it's a very, very nice experience.
Your first time judging, did you have to be Shushin and call the Hante? And
I don't remember if I was even a Shushin. Maybe, I think so. Now I'm actually became a real referee this in June. So now I am officially a referee in Italy.
What does it mean to be official? Did you have to do a test?
In Italy, after Yondan, you have to participate to at least, I think, 3 seminars. And then you have to do a practical test and a written test. And then you become a referee. So I have to study all the rules. And I was lucky because the Italian Federation gave us the chance to do this seminar even during the COVID period. We did two Zoom seminar and the last one in presence in June. So even if there was the COVID, I could do all the stuff to become a referee. And so I now I guess so sorry.
Yeah. No, congratulations. You're a referee. Now you have a lot more hard work ahead.
Yeah. And I think the refereeing part is so interesting and so important for you because I think it helps a lot to improve because you can see what the referees see. You can discuss with other referees, and so it's important for your own practice, and you start being more responsible to the community. So it's a job that really scared me a lot, but I think it's really interesting, and I'm really happy that now I can be part of this, and I hope I can do my best in this in this activity because it's really, really important.
Mm-hmm. So you've prepared some photos for us to talk through to some things that you found were memorable to you or important. Do you want to choose one right now and maybe describe it first and say why did you choose it?
Okay, actually, I choose 2 pictures in pairs. The first one is from my first dojo, from Musica and Kendo Club, and I'm in Boku. So there's an official pictures with all in pose in group, and it's important because it's my start. It's how I start. Now I changed my dojo because, and I will explain why, but I'm really grateful to my first dojo. I've been there for, I think, 7-8 years. So I met a lot of really special persons there, and it has been a very good start for me. Even if then I quit Kendo, I have enjoyed that period doing Kendo. And the other picture is the new dojo. So it's a more joyous picture. We are all in group, but it's a kind of a selfie with all the group. So it's a different group, even if part of them is from the old dojo. But the problem is that we have more than one sensei, and they follow in 2 different koryu. So at a certain point, they decided to split into 2 dojos. My sensei is a student of Oshita Sensei and Muzo Jikin Anshiryu. And so the other picture is the new dojo, the new group. Even if, of course, we are still friends with the old people. and it's important because they are my two experience in Budo.
So that's interesting. Like a lot of people, when they first start out, they choose a dojo to do Iaido. You're introduced to Seitei, and then you're doing that, and then eventually you find out there's a Koryu. In this case, you had a choice of choosing to do Shinden or Eishin Ryu, and then how did that
At the
work?
beginning, yes, of course, you had a choice because we have in Iaido two different sensei, and one was keeping with Muso Shinden and the other Muso Jikiden. And we used to do at the beginning like 2 times a week Aishin Ryu and 2 times a week Muso Shinden. And so if you want to participate to that to Jikiden, you do in the 2 times a week, and in the other 2 days you do Seitei. But you could choose, of course. So I was already feeling that Detlef was my sensei, so I chose his choreo, and I really enjoy it very much.
Mm-hmm. So the move out, the starting that other dojo, was that from scratch? Like you had to find a place, you had to set up the new times, you had to find other students.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and but because Detlef is even our Jodo teaching. He has already started teaching Jodo with a small group in another place. So it was quite easy. We went to the sports hall of that group.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. So.
Do you have another pair of pictures that you want to talk about?
Yeah. Okay. I actually choose a lot of pictures of the after training, like some group picture with a lot of persons that I met in these years. And one really beautiful was of my last seminar in European seminar. It happens actually at the end of February 2020. So just before COVID, I mean, when we were doing the seminar, there was a lot of Italians there, me and other friends, and we start having all the news from Italy that the COVID has arrived and that they were closing an entire city. So the news were quite scaring at that time, but we enjoyed our last seminar together. And there was this picture, very nice, because we are all a very, very big group of friends with a person doing a selfie. But there are a lot of versions actually of that picture, because a person took a picture of the mobile that was making us a picture. So there is a picture of the mobile with us in the in the screen, and there's another people who take a picture of us from far behind. So it was a very joyous picture, very full of joy, and I think is quite a representation of the friendship that has been created through this martial arts. So I really love that picture. There are a lot of very good friends in this picture.
Mm-hmm. And speaking of just before COVID happening, and even in Canada, we were seeing that like Italy was the worst hit at the very beginning. That was very hard. How have you guys made it through the pandemic so far? What have you been doing to keep up your practice or keep up your connections with your?
Actually, the Italian Federation has been, I think, really active. The national Iaido team has organized some Zoom practice, not at the very beginning, but after 1 month of lockdown, they really started. So we have a meeting every week. So it was really a very good training, even if, of course, with all the difficulties of Zoom. So we have this for a couple of months. My dojo started a little later, so because my sensei had problem with computer at the beginning, so we started actually in the second wave. So because in September we came back to the dojo, but it was only for 1 month. It was really, really a very short period, and they closed again all the sports hall. So from October, my dojo to organize a lot of Zoom meetings. So every week we had 2 or 3 Zoom meeting to train. And I think my sensei was really good, because of course it's difficult with Zoom to understand what is wrong. The perspective of the camera is always difficult, so it's not easy to correct the people. So it worked a lot on details. Maybe sometime when you are in your dojo is something that you don't, maybe you practice the entire kata, you're more focused on other stuff. In this case, it's really concentrated on details. And the other part, it was again with all the Europe friends. They have created a Facebook group for all the participants of Kendo, Iaido, and Jodo. And from that group, a lot of things happens. Actually, we started with a Zoom meeting that we do every single Sunday. We started with 9 people, and then the thing grows a lot, and we still doing it. Tomorrow it will be the 67th week of training. So that was really a very, very nice group organized by Thea Piala. I think that you talk with her, and Andy Watson and Kim Cruz, and that is a really very good experience. It's just a training among friends, no correction, nothing. You really can practice relaxed, and it has been really good to keep the motivation every week by week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I've seen that group. It contains a lot of people from different countries too. So normally you would only see them a few times a year. In this case, every week you get to.
Yeah. And there are a lot of people who came and go, some people that came back again. So it involved a lot of people, actually, even if now we are only maybe 20, but a lot of people has came over maybe for a couple of times. So it's always open to everyone, for new people or for people who have started with us and then they come back whenever they want. It's really nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a great initiative. Do you have another photo?
I choose, of course, a photo with me and my sensei, because of course in years I have to be I'm really grateful for with him because of his teaching. He's an Anadan, so his teaching is really high level, so I'm really lucky because to have such a good sensei in my dojo. So it's actually a picture in a party. So because of course there are even these moments, and no, it's just my I don't know how to say. I'm really happy I have met him and that I can keep practicing with him. He's even a Jodo teacher, so even now we are trying to keep training, even if it's really hot. Normally in Italy we stop in June because it's too hot, but we are trying to keep training. Is always making a lot of efforts to be with us and to stay with us. So.
Yeah, we talk a lot about when we're practicing, we gain from the practice ourselves. We experience like tournaments, so it's like a testing. We meet other people in the community and we compete against them or we train with them. But also this development of a relationship with your sensei is really important, and it's impactful in a lot of ways. I know that sometimes you learn things based on what they tell you. Sometimes you learn things just from being in their presence and seeing how they act and all that. maybe could you talk about some of the things that you've learned from your sensei, either directly or indirectly from just being in his presence?
I think I'm not learning it, unfortunately, but what I really admire in him is the strength and his energy. I mean, even in the moment, I'm really tired of this hot. I mean, and I say no, it's too much for me. He's always in, and I say, I don't know how he can be always so so energetic. I really admire this. I would like to be like this, and I try. I still not learned that part, but and it's not something that he say. You see that is always or that even when you think that he's not watching you, he is watching you, and so you cannot distract him. Even for 1 minute, because he always see everything. So he's really a very energetic person, and I really like that. I'm really lucky, even because I have a very good senpai, not just my sensei. I have a very good senpai, Andrea Setti, that now is the coach of the Italian national team. So he's a very, very good Iaidoka, and it's always supporting, always energetic, always very. Is a very good presence in the dojo. Even in the day in which you have had a bad day at work, but you see that he and your sensei are doing their best. They are not making any break, and so you feel more stimulated to go ahead.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's always important to have both a strong senpai and a sensei that you can look up to, especially now that like you're Yondan going for Godan. You're going to have to start taking on more of that responsibility. You have to look around and see how you can help some of the juniors. How do you think about that? How have you tried to look at, okay, now they're where I was maybe 5-6 years ago. How do I start supporting them in the way that I was supported?
Yeah, that is a thing that I know I should do, and I try to do. I'm still a little shy in this part. So I do a lot with a friend who is my same grade. So it's not that we are the same. She is Yondan too, but we are supporting each other a lot. So it's really easy for me to tell her something, because she tells the same to me. So it's a very we are the relationship is I don't know the English word, I'm sorry, but we are at the same level. So I tell her something that is wrong, she tells me a lot that is wrong for me. So it's really easy in this relationship. It's more difficult with other people. I'm still a little, oh my God, I don't want to tell maybe. So I do it if my sensei asks me to do. But I know that is something that I should improve, because I must be more responsible and try to help, because a lot of people helped me before. So I really need to start more to do this. In this year of COVID, we didn't have so many chances, because some of our beginner didn't participate to Zoom meeting. We have lost some people because I don't know if they don't like the Zoom meeting, or maybe they didn't want to. So there was not this necessity, but I just have two chances to make lesson during the Zoom meeting, and that it was really interesting for me to try to keep the lesson for all the hour and a half, and try with the camera to find out what to try to help them. It wasn't easy, of course, because they are actually my first chances to teach. because of course, since in my dojo we have a lot of very good teachers, it's not so necessary. And doing for the first time with Zoom, it wasn't it wasn't easy, but it was interesting to try to.
Yeah, talk about that. How did you think about the lesson? What did you want to cover? How did you explain? What did you want to say and ask people to do?
Actually, and it's something that even my senpai is trying to do. I've tried to start every time with some more physical exercise with no sword, because sometimes we just started with the sword, but we have to be aware that we have to care for our leg muscles, our arm muscles, and try to improve the muscle, and this can help with our practice. Sometimes we forget that, but maybe, so I try even to do a little bit of exercise in that, and a lot of kion, because of course the kata maybe are more difficult. I'm lucky because I have a lot of space in my house, so I can do almost every katas, but it's not the same for everyone. So I try to focus with kion, taking something from our Sunday Keiko, of course. I try to copy the best exercises. And then I try to focus on a couple of katas. So starting with practicing with them. So we just repeating, because it's even repeating the katas is good. And then I try to watch. So I did a couple of times with them, and then I try to watch really carefully. So they have to do the katas for 3-4 times. So I have the chance to watch one by one, and try, and of course saying, okay, maybe it's the camera, but maybe that was the point, because sometimes I wasn't so sure that the mistake was there because of the camera. But I try to say maybe it's like that, not giving so fixed judgment, but try to give some advice, or maybe not technical, but for the posture, maybe that is easier to watch, for example. Mm-hmm. And then ended with some stretching, because I think is another stuff that is really important that we never do. So I try to do that.
I think those of us who are a little older can appreciate the fact that you need to do some stretching afterwards, just to make sure our joints aren't hurting the next day.
Yeah, because I have a lot of a lot of pain normally, so I'm really aware of the necessity of this this kind of exercises.
So you were able to do your first kind of session on Zoom. When you think about going back into the dojo and being kind of in charge of a class again there, what mm-hmm. would you take that you've learned from Zoom that you'll bring into the dojo? What would you do more of now that you have a chance to be in person?
Mm-hmm. I think that I will try to do some still having a lot of kion, because I think they are important, and you can and maybe doing some kion different from my sensei, so that the student can have different kind of exercise, not just because with kion you really can study. I mean, in Jodo is always like that. You do kion at the beginning and then the kata. So the kion part is always there, and is always, I think that people is more evident that part is important. Maybe in Iaido we just do some cuts because we have to warm up, but even my sensei do a lot of kion, trying even to make us doing the stuff with the left hand instead of right hand, just to try to not do automatic gesture, but understand very well how is the movement. So the kion are really important, and I think that to study the details and to because sometimes when you do the kata, I mean, I'm talking for myself. I try to do it maybe too fast or to concentrate it on fighting spirit, on other stuff, and maybe I forget to work on some part of the movement. And in Kion, you can study that much better. So I think that I will focus a lot on that.
Yeah, so looking towards the future, when you're attempting for Godan, what are you working on now? What are you thinking about that you need more practice in, that you need to get good before you're confident in taking the test?
I think that, and we are working a little bit on that, is a lot of the rhythm of the kata, because maybe the technique is quite good. I mean, it's not that bad, but the rhythm has to change. The fluidity of the movement is really important, and I have to connect these two parts, because when I try to make a different rhythm, I lost a little bit on fluidity, because it's a different way to do the kata. So I have to adapt myself and my movement to the new rhythm, and this is something I really work on. And my sensei is talking a lot on kime, so the decision of the cut of the movement, and this is really important to show really your kime. Makes the kata much more impressive, much more fighting, and these are the two main points. Then there are thousands of others, but the main point for the Godan for now, I think that are these two kind of stuff.
Is there anything that you find people at the similar level as you that are also going for Godan? Is there anything that you see in other people that you see, oh, it seems so easy for them, but it's hard for me, or vice versa? It seems like they're struggling with, but it seems easy to me. Like these differences between individuals, your body type, your mindset. I always find that interesting. What have you noticed in yourself and others?
First, I have some example. My Francesca, who train in my same dojo, the other Yondan, so we are both going for Godan. I think that she's really good in. I don't know how to say exactly, but she has more fighting, but because she doesn't sometimes, especially in Taikai, she doesn't care maybe so much. She just wants to do the katas. She doesn't care so much. Oh my God, I'm doing this mistake, or I'm always so thinking too much, and this creates some problem when you try to do a good embu, because you think, oh my God, maybe I can make this mistake, and then block yourself, and you cannot leave yourself goes in the right way. She's really good when she's in. She just do the kata and try to do her best. I always think, oh my God, I can do a mistake, and I am not. And I think it's really she's really good in that. I really like to see her when she's in her better mood. She really do a very beautiful embu. And in other people, I see that they do the kata always in the same way. I mean, always very well, very. I have the sensation that sometimes I do the cut a little bit different, a little bit more on the right, or I never do the kata in the same way. I don't know how to express it, but some people are so precise, so good, that they are always doing everything very, very well. I mean, technically. So I don't think I have this confidence to, even if I know that my technique is okay, I think that sometimes I do mistakes because I'm not so confident on my technique, because I have this sensation. Maybe is my feeling, and maybe from outside is not the same. What actually I learned is that what you feel while you are doing your cut and what the people see from outside is so different. It's incredibly different. Sometimes you feel very well, you feel fighting, and people say, "Oh, you were so soft, you were so not fighting." I say, "No, why?" So it's really difficult to understand what the people see from outside, from you. The perception is incredibly different.
Mhm. So we're approaching time. Did you have another photo that you wanted to share?
No, the other picture I've chosen was a picture from Iaido Cup. We were a lot of people, and it's nice because it's a group picture, so it should be an official picture. Okay, so normally in every seminar, especially in Italy, but even abroad, we do an official picture and then a crazy picture. So in Italy, above all, we all like to do crazy pictures, and it is again a representation of the joy that we have having training together. So in this picture at the end, even if we were a lot, we did some crazy stuff. Just because it's nice to have this good memory of that moment.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to switch into some of the rapid fire questions. So these are kind of shorter questions that have just a direct answer. One of them I like is, if you had to split up your, I guess, 11 years of practicing Iaido into two halves. So the first part and then the second part. What's the in-between thing? What's the turning point that splits off your journey?
I think that's the first seminar in Switzerland, because before it was just, okay, I'm going 2 times a week doing some practice, it's nice. And after that it was, oh my God, I really love it. I want to do a lot of seminar, and this is what I did for a lot of years. I mean, every weekend, no, not every weekend, but a lot of weekend outside, a lot of training. So that changed a lot.
What have you changed your mind on in the last couple of years? Something that you used to think strongly about, but you're like, okay, maybe it could be different, or something that you believe was wrong, but now you're thinking, oh, okay, I think it's more correct.
I don't know, actually. I think that just COVID changed a little bit your perspective. I mean, that I want to do more stuff to be good with myself and to feel good, and not so many people not so many things to satisfy other people. I mean, we had so many times that we couldn't meet each other. So I really have to choose the stuff that really makes me happy, not just because I want to make it. It's not easy, because of course it's not easy, but it's something that I would like to do in the future.
If you could meet one sensei or practitioner that you've never met before, and spend a day having a conversation, and this person could be alive or dead, someone in history, who might that be?
My sensei talked so often about Aruna sensei, who was the sensei of Oshita sensei. So maybe just to have to understand I don't know, how Oshita sensei becomes who he's become.
That's funny, because I would say the same person, because like he was part of my line as well, and he passed away I think a few years, maybe 2 or 3 years before I started Iaido, so I never got a chance to meet him in Canada. But I've been to his house in Japan, and I've seen all the trophies and books, and yeah, it would have been great to have a conversation with him. If someone were to log into your YouTube account and see what YouTube recommends for you. So you might subscribe to some channels, you might go to watch certain videos, but then YouTube also, because you've watched those, they'll say, okay, here's some more videos that you want to see. If someone else were to log into your account, what would they see as videos that you like to watch in general?
Oh,
what type of videos?
I have to say, maybe they will see a lot of video of cats, but no, I don't spend so much time actually watching videos. Even I know that on Facebook I have a lot of suggestion of from friends of Iaido, even some historical pictures of videos, but I don't. I have to say I don't watch so many videos now. I have some of. I want to. We have some videos from Ashta Sensei, so I want to see that and study that in summer. But I don't use YouTube so much. So.
Have you kept up with like the Japanese cinema? You mentioned that was one of your things that you liked enjoying. Do you still watch?
But actually, when I don't come from Bologna. I came to live here 15 years ago, I think. So I stopped going to cinema so much. Yeah, now I don't go to cinema so much. I just watch more TV series or something, but I didn't find something about Japan so satisfying for now.
Okay, so that last question is related. It doesn't have to be Iaido or Budo related, but what's a recent book or movie or TV show that you've watched that you really enjoyed that you would recommend to friends, regardless of what their interests are?
I read a book that it was really nice. I love crime book, so it was really nice because it was really confused with a lot of different stories connected, and it was really nice. It's called like The Seven Deaths of Evelyn Arcasso, and it was nice with a surprising end. So
yeah, that's always a fun thing to read. Okay, so thank you so much for taking this time. I really enjoyed this conversation. Do you have something that you want to share with the audience in closing, some final message just before we wrap up?
No, I just want to really thank all the people who had me, my senseis, because really the group in Iaido is so important. I mean, that is so weird, like an individual practice. In an individual practice, the group and the people who are around you are so important, even if they are far from you so with Zoom, but they are really important. So, and this is something I really like, because I'm always been a person that has not so many friends, or always a very small groups. So for me, it's something new, but it's really a very loving stuff.
Absolutely. Thank you. It was great meeting you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a great day.
Bye. Have a good day too. Bye.